production procedure. Production procedure means whatever the steps we are going to take right from beginning of collection of ingredient up to the packaging of that parenterals. All the steps from accumulation or combining of ingredient of the formula to the including of the product in individual container. So whatever the steps are there right from weighing of the ingredient up to the final packaging of the container. So all of these steps in combine is called as production procedure. So to ensure the successful manufacturing operation, all process steps must be carefully reduced to writing after being shown to be effective. Once the production is complete and it is observed that the given product is having good stability, it is having very good solubility in the desired solvent. Once it means that once the product is ready to dispense, ready to market, at that time you have to mention each and every step used in the manufacturing of that product, right from weighing up to the packaging. Whatever the small steps you have considered, each and each and every step you have to mention in written. You have to write each and every steps when your final product is ready to market, and each this writing step is called as standard operating procedure. Whatever the written process you have mentioned, that is called as standard operating procedures. And whatever the next batch we are going to manufacture, then each and every person will follow this standard operating procedure, and no extemporaneous changes are permitted to be made in this procedure. Whatever the steps you have mentioned in standard operating procedure, the next person who are going to enter in that lab, suppose xyz person was working in laboratory, he is going to prepare a standard operating procedure. Then after a year, suppose this person has resigned and another person will enter in this lab. So whatever the new person will enter in that laboratory, he is not allowed to uh, he is not allowed to make single changes. No extemporaneous changes will be permitted to be mentioned in this procedure. And suppose you want to make any changes, then again he or she have to follow all the approval step as original written SOPs. Then extensive record must be kept to give the assurance at the end of production process that all steps have been performed as prescribed procedure. Then we have to mention the records that whatever the procedure we are going to take, it is as per the prescribed procedure. Means you are not going to change 1% of the procedure. Means if you are going to manipulate 1% in the procedure, it will having direct impact on the quality of the product. So that's why no one person is allowed to make any changes in the prescribed procedure, and the prescribed procedure is called as standard operating procedure. If you want to make any changes in the standard operating procedure, first you have to start from again step 1, step 2, step 3, means weighing of ingredient, their mixing, cleaning and packaging. All steps should be again carried out, and again you have to mention this new standard operating procedure. Otherwise you are not supposed to change anything in the given standard operating procedure. Then such in process control is essential to assuring the quality of the product. If you are going to follow the standard operating procedure, 100% sure that you will get the best quality product. But in case suppose you are going to add 1% of your procedure, then definitely it will affect the final quality of the product. Then the production of quality product is the result of dedicated efforts. What efforts you are taking during preparation of the parenteral, that will be have a direct impact on the final quality of the product. Then quality assurance is usually one of the pre-planning of those factors that bear upon the quality of the product, and the quality control designed to evaluate the quality. So what is the difference between quality assurance and quality control? Quality assurance means before preparing we are going to pre-plan those factors that will affect the quality of final factor. Means before preparing we are going to pre-plan So that is called as quality assurance. You are going to assure that if these steps are followed, you will get the quality. So that is called as quality assurance. But once the product is ready, then it is designed for the evaluation of quality. So this is the work of quality control. Once the product is ready, it is evaluated for its qualities. So this is the difference between quality assurance and quality control. So quality assurance is the pre-planning before manufacturing, and quality control is means evaluating the quality after preparing, after finalizing the product. To enhance the visualization of passage of material through the various steps of production process, a flow diagram is provided in this figure. So right from the left, starting from the left hand side, first we are going for ingredients, vehicle and solute. Whatever you required, first we are going for weighing of this ingredient, and whatever the equipments you required and whatever the containers you required. Suppose you require vials, suppose you require vial filling machine as an equipment, and suppose you require diclofenac and water for injection as an ingredient for this injections. So whatever the starting materials you are having, so this is the first step. First we are going to start with weighing of ingredient, processing of equipment, and then container and component. Next step is cleaning, then sterilization, and then filtration of the solution. Whatever the equipments you required in the parental preparation, first we have to clean that equipment thoroughly so that there will be no contamination of the particles. Then again, whatever the containers we are supposed to use in the parental preparation, then again these containers are also required to clean, and then this equipment and containers allowed to go for sterilization. Equipments we can sterilize by means of surface sterilization, and containers we can sterilize by keeping in autoclave or by means of hot air oven. Once it is sterilized, then this equipment and containers are ready for the compounding of the product. We can mix the product by means of this equipment, and once the mixing is ready, then we can go for filtration of the solution. Once your parental preparations are ready to fill, then it will go into the aseptic area. This filling and sealing, it is generally occur in aseptic environment. So once the preparation is ready, then it fill into the aseptic area. After filling, the containers are sealed, and then finally it pack into a packaged container, and lastly available for storage. So this is the flow diagram of production steps. So first step is weighing of ingredient, processing of equipment and container, then cleaning, then next sterilization, then compounding and filtration, filling, sealing, packaging and storage. So this is the step by step procedure of production area. So in the initial step, the formula ingredient, container component, processing equipment that have been released for the use are obtained from their respective storage. So initial step, as we have discussed, the ingredient, container component and equipment. First we have to obtain all of these three main component of your parental preparation: ingredient, container and equipment. The next step is ingredients are compounded according to the formula. Suppose you are using diclofenac sodium, then you are adding some antioxidant, surfactant or whatever it may be. So whatever the mixing we have to do in this procedure, we have to follow the master formula. According to the master formula, we are going to mix the ingredient. And then if the product is in solution form, then it is to be filtered during the transfer to aseptic filling room. So as we have seen in this picture, after after compounding of ingredient, next step is the filtration of solution. So if the product is in solution, then it is to be filtered to remove any suspended particle in your parenteral preparation. And the process equipment and container component are cleaned thoroughly and assembled in clean environment and are sterilized and depyrogenated prior to the use. Whatever the equipment or containers you required, suppose you required ampoule filling and sealing machine, and suppose containers you required ampoules or vials. Whatever the equipment and machines you required, first it is must be thoroughly clean and then assembled into a clean environment. and then are sterilized and depyrogenated prior to the use. So before filling, this equipment and containers must be sterilized and depyrogenated. So what happened if your container or equipments are contaminated? Suppose a single pyrogen or microorganisms are present in your container, then this may be there may be a chances for accidental contamination of your parental product. So therefore, whatever the equipment and container we are using, that must be sterilized and depyrogenated before filling the parental preparations. All equipment and supplies introduced into the aseptic filling area, that is to be sterile. Aseptic filling area means, as you can see in this diagram, filling and sealing, this is the aseptic area. ठीक है. Aseptic area means it will not contain any viable microorganism and it must be free from all visible particles. That is called as aseptic area. And this is the cleanup area. Cleanup area means where we are going to compound the product and filter the product. That is called as cleanup area. So cleanup area need not to be that much free from microorganisms as required in the aseptic area. Aseptic area is the most sensitive area where we are going for filling and sealing of the containers. So the highest cleaning is required in this aseptic area. As compared to this, least cleaning is required in this compounding and filtration area and also in packaging area. So which is the most sensitive area? That is aseptic area, at which we are going to fill and seal the container. All equipment and supplies introduced into the aseptic filling area should be sterile and come directly from the sterilization process through the double-ended sterilizers. Then outer wrapping of the package. Sometimes the package is available in two types of the wrapping in order to prevent the chances of contamination. First, we are going to remove the outer wrapping and then inner wrapping by the personnel already in the aseptic filling area. Once the package is introduced into the cleanup area or into the production area, so both of this wrapping is not allowed to remove in the aseptic area directly, because when the final package is available, suppose we are going to call the packages from the outside industries. Suppose the package is available in carton. Suppose your carton containing the ampoules or the vials, thousands of ampoule and vials. So whatever the ampoules and vials you are going to obtain from the other industries, it must be available in two types of the wrapping. Once the package is received by the industry, then first we are going to remove the outer wrapping, and then as such we are going to transfer this package into the next compartment, that is aseptic cabin, and then this aseptic area we are going to remove the inner wrapping, so that we are going to reduce the chances for contamination of the final product. When double wrappings are not possible, in that case we can wipe up the disinfectant solution as they are transferred into the aseptic area. So when double wrapping is not possible, in that case equipment and packages must be wiped with the disinfectant solution. If single wrapping is available there, then you can clean the inner wrapping along with the disinfectant solution, so that the chances for contamination will be less. All supplies must be introduced into the aseptic filling room in such a manner that the aseptic state of room is maintained, thereby preventing the introduction of environmental contamination into the final product while it is being subdivided into individual containers. After these containers are sealed and contamination cannot enter into the final container and product. Then, as shown in the figure, product is sealed in its final container within the aseptic. As shown in the figure, product is sealed in its final container within the aseptic room. It is then transferred to the packaging area. So Product is sealed within the final container in this aseptic room. Filling and sealing, as we already discussed, filling and sealing is always done in this aseptic area. Once the sealing is done, then only it is allowed to transfer into the package area. Packaging area is maintained clean but need not to maintain the standard imposed on the aseptic area. As we already discussed that the aseptic area must be as clean as possible. It must be free from all contamination. It must be free from microorganism. It must be free from all type of the particle. As compared to this aseptic area, packaging and cleanup area should be having less standard. Packaged products are placed in quarantine storage only until all tests are completed and release. Once all tests are done, once in process quality control have been evaluated, then the product may be released for the distribution. Means once the packaging is done, at that time the product is kept in this product storage or the quarantine storage area until and unless all in process quality tests are done. Whatever the product we are going to store here, first it will quality control test whether it contain any particulate matter, whether it contain any microbial contamination or not. So all tests are done before the product dispatched to the market. Once it is finalized that whatever the product store in the storage area, it is safe and all tests are as per the specification, then only the storage product will allow to dispatch into the market. Then let us discuss the facilities. What facilities requires in the parental preparation? Facilities designed for control of cleanliness for each step. So cleanliness is very much important when you are going to prepare the parental preparation. So what facilities mainly requires so that you are able to maintain the cleanliness, so that you are able to control the cleanliness. So cleanliness must be achieved in aseptic filling room. As we have already discussed, aseptic area where we are going to fill and seal the container, in this area the cleanliness must be achieved. Highest standard of cleanliness is required in the aseptic area. The surrounding area means the cleanliness and packaging area. Surrounding area provides a buffer area. Buffer area means less standard we can consider as compared to the aseptic area. So the surrounding area in which the standard of cleanliness are only slightly lower than those in the aseptic area. So aseptic area requires high standard of cleanliness, and as compared to that surrounding area, surrounding means, just look at this figure. Aseptic area requires the highest standard of cleanliness. As compared to that surrounding means packaging area and cleanup area. Cleanup means where we are going to compound and filter the solution. So aseptic area requires the highest concentration, highest standard of the cleanliness, and the surrounding areas, packaging and cleanup area, requires less standard of cleanliness as compared to the aseptic area. Prevention of contamination must be primary objective in the design of these facilities. So we are going to take each and every step to prevent the contamination during preparation of the parental. So what kind of precautions we are taking? The ceiling, walls, floor should be constructed of material that is easy to clean and it is non-porous. Non-porous means it should not be having fine porous holes, so that the particle or microbes get enter in that porous material. So that's why whatever the floors, walls, ceilings we are constructed, it must be easy to clean and it must be non-porous to prevent the accumulation of debris or moisture. And one of the best material for the floors is ceramic plastic cement. So this is the material which is used in construction of the working area of the parental preparation. Why the ceramic plastic cement is used? Because it's provide very smooth surface and also non-porous surface, which will not allows the accumulation of any dust or microorganism. And this also provide the smooth surface which is also easy to clean by using some disinfectant solution. Another flooring material that is sheet vinyl with the heat welded seams. Go to the side of walls and applied by the adhesive on underlying surfaces. So this is again a choice of material in construction of the floors. Movable metal partitions are also available. Suppose you want to prepare aseptic room, this metal movable partitions are available. You can just move these partitions and you can prepare any room. Either you want to prepare cleanup area, package area, or aseptic area, whatever the area you want to prepare, just by moving the metal partition you can prepare the desired area. But it is having disadvantage of seams and joints. Once two partitions get connected with each other at the corner, it may form a joint. And wherever the joints are there, fine corners are there, as you can see in the regular walls at your home. There are fine corners at 90 degrees Celsius. So this type of 90-degree corners are not expected in parental preparation. In case of parental preparation, wall must be having smooth surfaces. The corners are not allowed. Wherever the corners are present, there are maximum chances for accumulation of the dust and microorganisms. That's why in parental preparation, all areas must be having smooth surfaces. Corner must be removed so that there must be smooth surfaces, so that it will be easy to clean and remove all the accumulated dust. Glass is often used in the partition. So instead of movable metal partition, we can also use the glass. So what is the use of glass? Supervision will be very easy. Directly from outside door, you can see that what the person working in that aseptic area, what kind of role he is doing, whether he is seriously working there or not. So supervision will be easy and also more pleasant and better lighted. Again, light illumination will be better in that area. Furniture should be of non-porous material, hard surface material, and preferably stainless steel. Whatever the furniture we are using, if you are using a stool in your aseptic cabinet, whatever the furniture, whatever it may be, so that must be non-porous. Non-porous means there should not be any porous thing. If any pores are present, these pores will be responsible for accumulation of the dust and microorganisms. So that's why the furniture must be non-porous. If we are using any metal furniture, then obviously it will be non-porous in the nature. And the items of equipment that are difficult or impossible to sterilize should be kept out of aseptic area. Those items or equipment which are difficult to sterilize must be kept out of aseptic area. You are not allowed to keep that items into the aseptic area. Suppose you want a working table in your aseptic cabinet and this working table is made up of porous material, then this type of working table will not be allowed in aseptic area, because there will be chances for accumulation of the dust and microorganisms. So we are going to avoid this type of equipment and furniture into the aseptic area. And if they are must in the aseptic area, suppose you cannot avoid the entry of this type of equipment or the furniture in aseptic cabinet, then this type of equipment or furniture continuously exposed to the disinfectant processes. Continuously you have to go for disinfection, so that the viable microorganisms should not be present into the porous material. Whenever possible, operating machinery parts should be enclosed in a stainless steel housing. Once the working part are enclosed in a stainless steel housing, the chances for contamination will be less. Microorganism or the particles will not directly enter into the machinery part once it is protected. Then mechanical servicing of electrical, gas, water, air ventilation and other utility lines into the areas requires the careful planning. Whenever you requires the servicing of electricity, servicing of water supply, servicing of air ventilation, air conditioning, in that cases extra care must be taken. You must be careful while cleaning all of these equipments. Then laminar airflow is most important in case of aseptic cabinet. In laminar airflow, we are going to use the HEPA filter. So HEPA filter will filter the air, and it will remove the entry, or it will prevents the entry of all microorganism in your working area. So whatever the air present in aseptic cabinet, that air is allowed to pass through the HEPA filter. HEPA filter will remove all chances of contamination of particles or microorganism, and then sterile air or pure air will enter into your working area. So laminar airflow is very important in case of aseptic cabinet, because it will always provides the sterile air, the air which is always free from all type of microorganisms and particles. Suppose you are sitting in your living room or your bedroom. So whatever the air present in your surrounding, this air will contains the millions of microorganisms. So when this air pass through the laminar airflow, all type of viable microorganisms will get filtered, and only sterile air will enter into your working area. So that's why by means of laminar airflow we can remove all chances of microbial contamination. Then environmental control. Effective environmental control, both physical and biologic, is essential. Environmental control means uh, further the rigid standard from plant to plant, from one geographic location to another are not appropriate. So environmental control means what? The desired temperature, desired pH, moisture, light, oxygen. So these are the environmental control. These are the environmental conditions which will affect the stability of your final preparations. So we have to take care of all of these environmental condition: temperature, humidity, pH, moisture, light, etc., etc. And these environmental conditions may differ from plant to plant, or from one geographic location to another geographic location. Suppose one plant is located in Mumbai and another plant is located in Himachal, Baddi. So if you consider the geographic location of both of these plant, so one plant is located at highly humid area and another plant is located at cold condition where the humidity is very low. So in that cases we have to consider the environmental condition based on the geographical location. Means suppose we are going to prepare the diclofenac location, suppose we are going to prepare the diclofenac injection in Mumbai. So at that time you have to mention what was the temperature, what was the humidity present at that location. Suppose you are working in room temperature, then you have to mention what was the room temperature exactly. Room temperature may be different in Mumbai, room temperature may be different in Himachal Pradesh. So that's why you have to mention all environmental condition at which you have prepared the parental preparation. Whatever the temperature was present, whatever the moisture was present in that working area, you have to write each and every point. Then the standard of environmental control may vary depending on the area involved. Standard of environmental control may vary depending on the cleanup area, packaging area, compounding area, or the filling area, and the type of product being prepared. So different environmental conditions are required in these different types of working area. Unquestionably, the entire area used for preparation of the product prepared aseptically without terminal sterilization must be maintained under the most rigid control that existing technology permits. So we have to take utmost care while preparing the parental preparation. If the product is to be terminally sterilized, then less rigid biologic control is required. Terminally sterilized means suppose your product is temperature sensitive, just like your diclofenac sodium is temperature sensitive. Then in that case, it is not necessary that you are going to prepare the product aseptically. You don't have to take high standard of aseptic condition, because finally we are going for terminal sterilization. Once your filling and sealing is done, after filling and sealing, sealed container are allowed to transfer into the autoclave. After autoclaving, again your product will get terminally sterilized. So this is called as terminal sterilization. And if the terminal sterilization is not possible, then terminal sterilization is not possible means, suppose your drug is temperature sensitive and you are not allowed to sterilize using autoclaving, because in autoclaving your drug is exposed to 121 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes at 15 lbs pressure. So at that temperature and pressure your product may get degraded because of high temperature. So only in that case the product is utmost care must be taken while preparing this type of injections. If your product is temperature sensitive, then you have to take high quality of standards while preparing the injections. High standards of cleanliness, excluding daily use of disinfectant procedure, are usually acceptable for cleanup and packaging areas. Then traffic control. Excellence in environmental control necessary for personnel and supplies to move from one area to another. As we have seen, different areas: cleanup area, filling area, compounding area, filling, sealing area, packaging area, storage area. So different areas are there. So what is meant by traffic control? The person is should not repeatedly go from one area to another. Suppose a person is repeatedly moving from one place to another, then there will be maximum chances for contamination. Therefore, a careful design arrangement to control and minimize the traffic. We have to minimize the traffic. Once you enter the aseptic area, until and unless it is not required, you are not allowed to leave the aseptic area. Suppose in between you want to go in canteen, it is not allowed. Once you enter into the aseptic area, once you once the filling and sealing is done, then only you are allowed to go outside. So in this way we have to control the traffic in aseptic cabinet or any parental preparation. Access directly from outside is to the personnel washroom. Once the personnel means worker, once the worker enter into the parental manufacturing area, first he will expose to the wash basin. First the person will wash his hand, then equipment washroom, then to the non-sterile manufacturing area, then capping or packaging area. So in this way person is allowed to move from one area to another. Access by personnel to aseptic corridor and the aseptic compounding and filling room is only through the airlock doors. So airlock doors will be available at every point. Personnel should be permitted to enter the aseptic areas only after following the prescribed procedure. So he will allow to enter only after following the prescribed procedure, means removing their street clothing. In whatever the clothing you enter into the industries, first you have to remove that clothing and you have to wear the sterilized clothing which is available for entry into the parental area. Then washing their hands, donning gowns, hats, shoes, face masks, gloves and their prescribed attire. Only in the prescribed attire you are allowed to enter into the area. Once they enter, not to be permitted to move in and out of the area to control the traffic. Personnel assigned to cleaning and packaging should be restricted to these areas. Whatever the work assigned to you, suppose you are assigned to do only cleaning work, then you will do only cleaning work. Suppose someone is assigning to compounding the ingredient, means he is going to weigh all the ingredients, that work is only assigned to a respective person. Filling is assigned to only few restricted persons. So these persons may not interfere with each other works. Whatever the work assigned to you, you will do only that work. Unauthorized personnel should never be permitted to enter the aseptic area. So only authorized persons are allowed to work into the aseptic areas and unauthorized persons are not allowed to enter. Housekeeping. Cleaning personnel must keep in mind that not one remaining particle of debris is acceptable. Whatever the housekeeping persons are working in the housekeeping department, initially they are instructed that not a single particle should be there in the parenteral preparation area. If a single particle is present, that will affect the quality of your product. So that's why housekeeping personnel should be clearly instructed that the single particle should not be present in this area. All equipment and surrounding work area must be cleaned thoroughly at end of working day. Once the working day is finished, at the end of each working day, you have to clean all the equipments and surrounding work. No contaminating residues may remain. The ceiling walls and other structural surfaces must be cleaned completely. All cleaning equipment for its effectiveness and freedom from lint producing tendencies. And it should be reserved for use in aseptic area only. Then surface disinfection. After thorough cleaning, the surfaces should be disinfected at least in aseptic areas. And how to disinfect these areas? By means of UV radiation. UV lamps are always turned on in these aseptic cabinets. So what is the role of these UV lamps? UV light is a highly penetrating light. It will directly penetrate the microorganism and destroy. So that is the role of UV lamps. And this type of UV lamps you can see in different working areas, useful to irradiate the inside and exposed surfaces of processing tanks, surfaces under the hoods, surfaces of conveyor belts, and similar confined surfaces that are otherwise difficult to render aseptic. However, they cannot reach unexposed surfaces such as pipe connection or tanks, the underside of conveyors, and inside of the containers. So whatever the surfaces are exposed, each and every surfaces are disinfectized by means of the UV radiations. UV lamps must be kept clean and care must be taken to check for decreasing effective emission. So regularly you have to check the effective emission. Means after some days the effectiveness of UV light may get decreased. Once the effective emission is decreased, change the UV light with fresh one.